Good afternoon, I'm Jess De Los Santos. This is One News Now. Death toll from the widespread flooding in Visayas and Mindanao has gone up to 13. 7 of the fatalities were from northern Mindanao, 3 from Bicol, 2 from eastern Visayas, and 1 from Zamboanga. At least 23 people are also missing, while 6 were reportedly injured. The heavy rains and flooding affected over 160,000 people and has left over 14 million pesos in infrastructure damage. Meanwhile, damage to agriculture is now pegged at 61 million pesos. On to weather updates, the shear line will continue to trigger rains over some parts of the country. Pag-asa said moderate to heavy rains with at times intense rains are expected over eastern Visayas, Palawan, Bohol, Zamboanga Peninsula, northern Mindanao, and Caraga could also experience heavy rains. The Weather Bureau warns of possible flooding and rain-induced landslides in these areas. Meanwhile, the northeast monsoon or Amihan is also expected to dump light rains across Luzon, including Metro Manila. More stories after this short break. Stay with us here on One News Now. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Jess De Los Santos. It's day one of the mandatory SIM registration in the Philippines, and as expected, telcos are busy addressing registration concerns. PLDT Smart said it is working to increase the capacity of its registration portal. This is to accommodate the influx of registrants on the first day of registration.
To accommodate the surge in traffic, heavy traffic, nag-increase tayo ng capacity. Sabihin na natin na sa bandwidth ito. So medyo technical siya, pero posibleng kapag nag-try kayo ulit ngayon, ay gagana na.
Globe also saw a deluge of registrants, forcing the temporary shutdown of its website. However, the company assured its subscribers that it will be up and available again within the day.
Yung experience natin hindi pa ganun ka-smooth, no? So binaba muna natin sandali, and then we're still doing another round of retesting. Pero makakasiguro po tayo na within the day makakaakyat ulit yung website natin.
Hospitals are preparing to accommodate firecracker-related injuries ahead of New Year's Eve. Jenny Dongon with the report.
Hospitals across the country are all set for firecracker-related injuries. The Tondo Medical Center, for one, has prepared the equipment needed for treating wounds and amputation. Separate rooms are also ready for those patients with COVID-19 symptoms.
Una, ina-identify muna kung merong COVID symptoms or wala yung patient since pandemic pa rin.
Doctors said patients usually arrive at hospitals after midnight.
Kasi siguro yung paglilipit or paglilinis, pagpupulot ng mga hindi pumutok. Actually, yun yung mga nagiging, yung mga last cases namin yung mga namulot na.
Most of firecracker victims are children or drunk individuals.
Na nating pagsabayin ang pag-inom at ang pagpapaputok. Dahil yun usually po, yun, putol ng daliri, sabog yung laman sa puwet kasi ibinulsa.
In Quezon City, private households have been prohibited to use firecrackers, while fireworks displays will only be allowed in public areas upon securing a permit from the local government.
Mas maganda po, kasi katulad po dito ay squatter po. May mga tendency po na yung magpaputok, lumipat po sa mga bahagi ng bahay na madaling masunog.
Kung maaari nga, huwag lang mapuputok Kasi marami na didiskrasa rin dito kung maiwasan huwag mo paputok, mas mabuti.
The Department of Health has logged 15 cases of firecracker-related injuries so far. These are mostly due to prohibited firecrackers such as boga, quitis, whistle bomb, and 5-star. For News 5, Jenny Dongon, We Are One News.
China will be scrapping mandatory quarantine for arriving passengers. China is hoping to implement the eased restriction despite an ongoing surge in COVID-19 cases. Beijing has since started lifting pandemic restrictions in a bid to appease its citizens. China's eased quarantine rule would take effect on January 8. Communities in Thailand are suffering from recyclable waste shipped from more developed countries. Let's find out more from this Bloomberg report.
There is this big global industry devoted to taking waste from generally developed countries and shipping it to poorer countries, many of them in Southeast Asia. Environmentalists have come up with a term to describe this phenomenon. What they call it is waste colonialism.
You cannot breathe. You have a headache.
One of the people I spoke to was a man named Vinyu Jiramankong. He has a house in the Bangkok suburbs, and a couple of years ago he found out that a property next to his house was being turned into a recycling plant.
The whole area of this
covered in smoke.
Yes, covered by the smoke.
And that's why you have this big
yes.
fan.
Doctor said I need to move my son out of here.
And it appears, based on some scientists I spoke to who've looked at this issue, that these were fumes from hydrocarbon exposure, that plastic was being melted down, which of course creates fumes that, if they're not properly filtered and vented, can be really damaging to people and wildlife. And so that's what Vinyu was experiencing in his home. So if this is killing pigeons, it's pretty bad.
Yes, it's going to kill my family too. So I have to let it go.
And leave this house.
Yes, leave the house.
The Thai government has, for a few years now, been moving toward a ban on foreign plastic waste import. But as I learned from the Environment Minister and from others I've spoken to, that's much easier said than done.
For more updates, visit News 5, the Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Jess De Los Santos. We are One News.